Welcome to my channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Close your eyes for a second and imagine the year 1976. Fireworks explode across American skies. Parades fill the streets. Red, white, and blue flags wave proudly from homes, cars, and city buildings. The United States is celebrating 200 years of independence. And during that once-in-a-lifetime moment, the U.S. Mint released a coin that would forever capture the spirit of that celebration, the legendary Eisenhower dollar. This is not just a $1 coin. It is a symbol of history, pride, power, and American achievement. And today, we are going deeper than most videos ever go, into its value, its varieties, its hidden potential, and what makes certain examples worth serious money. The story begins with President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the five-star general who led Allied forces to victory in Europe during World War II and later became the 34th President of the United States. After his passing in 1969, the nation wanted to honor him. In 1971, the Eisenhower dollar was introduced, becoming the first large-size U.S. dollar coin since the Peace Dollar series ended in 1935. But something extraordinary happened midway through the Eisenhower dollar series. As the bicentennial approached, Congress authorized special reverse designs for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. For the Eisenhower dollar, a nationwide design competition was held. The winning reverse, created by Dennis R. Williams, featured the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon. It was brilliant symbolism. The Liberty Bell represented 1776, the birth of American independence. The moon represented the Apollo 11 mission, a symbol of American innovation and global leadership. The obverse retained Eisenhower's strong left-facing portrait, designed by Frank Gasparo. Above him, Liberty. To the side, In God We Trust. And below, the dramatic dual date 1776 to 1976. That dual date instantly makes this coin stand apart from every other Eisenhower dollar. Now here is where things get interesting for collectors. Although all bicentennial Eisenhower dollars carry the 1776 to 1976 date, they were minted in two different years, 1975 and 1976. Number 1975 dated Eisenhower dollars exist. Every coin struck during that two-year production window carries the dual date. The coin was produced at three mints: Philadelphia with no mint mark, Denver with a D mint mark, and San Francisco with an S mint mark. The Philadelphia and Denver coins were made in copper-nickel clad composition for circulation. Millions upon millions were produced. In fact, over 220 million bicentennial Eisenhower dollars were struck for general use. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples today remain affordable. However, the San Francisco Mint created something special. They struck both clad-proof coins and 40% silver collector versions. The silver versions were never intended for circulation. They were sold directly to collectors in special packaging. The silver content is important. Each 40% silver Eisenhower dollar contains approximately 0.3161 troy ounces of silver. That gives the coin intrinsic metal value, which fluctuates with the silver market. Even if collector demand disappeared overnight, the silver version would still carry melt value. But melt value is just the beginning. Condition is everything in coin collecting. A worn bicentennial Eisenhower dollar with scratches, contact marks, and dull surfaces may only bring a small premium. But a sharply struck coin with blazing luster, minimal marks, and strong eye appeal can command dramatically higher prices. The Eisenhower dollar is known for weak strikes, especially in the hair above Eisenhower's ear and on the Liberty Bell details. Because of this, fully struck high-grade examples are much scarcer than raw mintage numbers suggest. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC assign numeric grades from 1 to 70. Coins graded MS65 are considered gem uncirculated. MS66 and MS67 are superb gems. The population of MS67 bicentennial Eisenhower dollars is tiny compared to the total number minted. That rarity and high grade is where the big money lives. Proof coins are another category entirely. San Francisco proof coins were struck using polished dies and specially prepared planchets. The result is mirror-like surfaces with frosted design elements. Deep cameo or ultra cameo examples, where the contrast is bold and dramatic, are especially desirable. Now let's talk about errors, because this is where treasure hunters get excited. There are known off-center strikes, clipped planchets, double dies, and even wrong planchet errors within the Eisenhower dollar series. A dramatic off-center bicentennial Eisenhower dollar with full visible date can bring strong collector interest. Double die varieties, where lettering or design elements show noticeable doubling, are also collectible. Many people overlook Eisenhower dollars because they are large and heavy. Banks often stored them in vaults rather than releasing them widely. That means some original mint rolls still exist today. Searching original rolls can sometimes reveal high-grade gems that have never been submitted for certification. Another factor that influences value is eye appeal. Toning plays a huge role. Some silver bicentennial Eisenhower dollars develop beautiful rainbow toning over time. Natural multicolor toning can increase desirability significantly among advanced collectors. Now imagine this scenario. A collector inherits a box from a relative who saved coins during the bicentennial celebration. Inside are several untouched 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollars still in original mint packaging. Most might be common. But one, just one, could grade MS-67 or PR-70 deep cameo. That single coin could be worth exponentially more than the rest. This is why knowledge matters. Understanding mint marks, composition, grading, strike quality, and eye appeal separates ordinary finds from extraordinary ones. The standard circulated clad bicentennial Eisenhower dollars generally trade for a small premium over face value. Uncirculated clad examples can sell for modest amounts depending on grade. The 40% silver uncirculated versions usually sell higher due to silver content. Silver-proof versions typically bring more than uncirculated silver coins, especially in high grade with strong cameo contrast, but at the very top of the market, prices become impressive. High-grade MS-67 clad bicentennial Eisenhower dollars have sold at major auctions for over $3,000. Certain MS-67 silver uncirculated examples have reached beyond $6,000. An elite PR-70 deep cameo 1976 silver-proof Eisenhower dollars have achieved auction prices exceeding $13,000. Yes, a coin with a $1 face value can reach five figures under the right circumstances. That is the power of rarity, preservation, and collector demand working together. So before you dismiss that large 1776 to 1976 Eisenhower dollar sitting in a drawer, take a closer look. Check for the mint mark. Examine the strike. Look for silver edges. Study the surfaces under good lighting. Consider professional grading if the coin appears flawless, because hidden inside what looks ordinary could be something truly special. Top 2. Today, collectors are looking at it again with fresh eyes. We are talking about the powerful and historic Eisenhower dollar from the United States of America. This is the last regular issue Eisenhower dollar ever struck for circulation. That alone makes it special. The Eisenhower dollar series began in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the Supreme Commander of Allied forces in Europe during World War II and later the 34th President of the United States. His leadership during one of the most intense periods in modern history earned him a permanent place on American coinage. By 1978, the large-size dollar coin experiment was coming to an end. Americans simply did not embrace the bulky coin for daily transactions. Vending machines struggled with it. Pockets felt heavy. Cash registers were not designed for it. The U.S. Mint knew change was coming. In 1979, the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar would replace it. That makes 1978 the final year, and the 1978 D the final Denver Mint issue of the entire Eisenhower series, and collectors love final year coins. The 1978 D Eisenhower dollar was struck at the historic United States Mint facility in Denver. The D Mint mark appears on the obverse, just below Eisenhower's neck truncation. The coin is composed of copper-nickel clad, meaning it has a pure copper core layered between outer copper-nickel alloy surfaces. Unlike earlier special collector versions, there were number 40% silver 1978 D circulation strikes. What you see is clad. The obverse features Eisenhower's bold left-facing portrait, designed by Frank Gasparo. The word liberty stretches across the top. In God We Trust sits to the left of the portrait. The date 1978 rests below. The design is strong, masculine, and unmistakably American. Flip the coin over and you'll see the famous Apollo 11-inspired reverse. An eagle descends toward the moon's surface, clutching an olive branch. Earth appears in the distance. The inscription United States of America arcs along the top, with $1 at the bottom and E pluribus unum above the eagle. This design symbolizes peace through strength and commemorates America's space achievement. Now here's where value begins to separate from face value. The 1978 D had a mintage of over 33 million coins. That is not rare in raw numbers. Because of this high mintage, most circulated examples remain affordable today. Coins that show heavy wear, scratches, rim dings, and dull surfaces typically trade for small premiums over $1, but numbers alone never tell the full story. The Eisenhower dollar series is notorious for weak strikes. Many examples show softness in the hair above Eisenhower's ear and in the eagle's breast feathers on the reverse. Finding a sharply struck example with full detail is harder than the mintage suggests. Condition is everything. When collectors talk about value, they talk about grade. Coins graded MS-63 or MS-64 are common in uncirculated condition. But when you move into MS-65, MS-66, and especially MS-67 territory, rarity increases dramatically. The jump from MS-66 to MS-67 in this series is huge. Tiny imperfections that most people would never notice can prevent a coin from achieving a top grade. Contact marks from mint bags are common. Large dollar coins banged against each other during transport, leaving ticks and scuffs. That means true gem examples are much scarcer than you might think. Another factor that excites collectors is luster. Fresh 1978 D Eisenhower dollars have bright, cartwheel luster that spins under light. Coins that retain original mint luster without haze or dullness are much more desirable. Then there are varieties and errors. While the 1978 D is not known for major dramatic varieties like some earlier Eisenhower years, there are minor double dies and die polishing varieties that specialists search for. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and broad strikes also exist. Error coins from the Denver Mint can bring strong premiums, especially when the error is visually dramatic and well preserved. Toning is another element that can influence value. Some 1978 D Eisenhower dollars develop attractive golden, blue, or rainbow toning over time. Natural toning with strong eye appeal can significantly boost desirability among advanced collectors. Now let's talk about collector psychology. Because the 1978 D is the final Denver issue of the series, many collectors building complete Eisenhower dollar sets needed to finish their albums. Demand remains steady. It may not be rare in low grade, but high-grade registry quality examples are actively pursued. There is also nostalgia. The late 1970s were a unique time in American history. Disco music filled the air. Space exploration was still fresh in the public imagination. Inflation was rising. And the Eisenhower dollar represented the last of the large traditional dollar coins. When the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar replaced it in 1979, many Americans actually missed the bold, heavy feel of the Eisenhower. Now imagine finding a sealed original bankroll of 1978 D Eisenhower dollars. Inside could be coins untouched since the day they left the mint. Most would grade average uncirculated. But just one coin with flawless surfaces and razor-sharp strike, could grade MS-67 or higher, and that is where serious money begins. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC authenticate and encapsulate coins, giving them a numerical grade. Registry collectors compete for the highest graded examples, and this competition drives auction prices upward. While circulated examples usually sell for modest premiums, uncirculated MS-65 examples typically bring higher collector prices. MS-66 coins bring even more. But MS-67 examples are scarce and command strong demand. Now we come to the auction results. Most circulated 1978 D Eisenhower dollars trade for a few dollars above face value. Typical uncirculated MS-65 examples often sell in the range of $20 to $40 depending on eye appeal. MS-66 coins commonly bring $100 or more, but in top condition, the numbers change dramatically. That a certified MS-67 1978 D Eisenhower dollar has sold at major auction for over $8,000, yes, a coin with a $1 face value reaching into the thousands. That is the power of condition rarity combined with collector demand. Top 3, picture this. It's the late 1970s. America is moving through a decade of change. The space race has already made history. The bicentennial celebration is fresh in people's memories. Disco music fills the air. And in the middle of all of this, one large, bold coin continues to quietly circulate through banks and casinos, the powerful Eisenhower dollar. Most people never gave it a second thought that it was heavy. It was big. It didn't fit comfortably in pockets. Many Americans preferred paper dollars instead. But today, collectors are taking a much closer look at this coin, especially the 1977 D struck at the Denver Mint. And what they're discovering might surprise you. The Eisenhower dollar series was first introduced in 1971 to honor Dwight D. Eisenhower, the five-star general who commanded Allied forces during World War II and later became President of the United States. His leadership and steady presence during tense global moments made him one of the most respected figures in modern American history. By 1977, the series was nearing its final years. Only one more year of production would follow before the large-size dollar coin was replaced by the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar in 1979. That makes the 1977 D part of the closing chapter of America's last traditional large dollar coin era. Let's talk about the design because this coin carries symbolism that still resonates today. On the obverse, Eisenhower's left-facing portrait dominates the surface. The word liberty arches above his head. In God We Trust appears to the left. The date 1977 is struck clearly below. Just beneath Eisenhower's neck truncation sits the small but powerful D Mint mark, identifying it as a Denver Mint product. Flip the coin over and you'll see one of the most iconic reverse designs in modern U.S. coinage. An eagle descends toward the moon's surface, wings spread wide, clutching an olive branch. In the distance, the Earth rises above the lunar horizon. The design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, connecting the coin to America's space achievements. Around the edge reads United States of America and $1, with E pluribus unum above the eagle. This design blends military strength, peace symbolism, and space-age optimism into one bold image. Now here's where value enters the conversation. The 1977 D Eisenhower dollar had a mintage of over 32 million coins. On the surface, that number suggests the coin is common. And in circulated condition, it generally is. Many examples show bag marks, contact scratches, dull surfaces, and weak strikes. The Eisenhower dollar series is known for inconsistent strike quality. Hair details above Eisenhower's ear often appear soft. The eagle's breast feathers sometimes lack definition. Because of this, sharply struck examples are much scarcer than the raw mintage might suggest. Condition is everything. Coins that spent time bouncing around in mint bags often show heavy contact marks. The large size made them especially prone to surface damage. That means finding a clean, high-grade example without distracting marks can be surprisingly difficult. Collectors categorize coins using numerical grades. MS-63 and MS-64 are common uncirculated levels for the 1977 D. MS-65 coins are considered gem quality. MS-66 examples are scarcer. And MS-67 coins are rare. The difference between MS-66 and MS-67 may come down to a few tiny ticks or slight softness in strike. But in the auction world, that difference can mean thousands of dollars. Another factor that influences value is luster. Fresh 1977 D Eisenhower dollars display bright, cartwheel luster that rotates under light. Coins that retain this original mint brilliance are far more desirable than dull or cleaned examples. Cleaning is something collectors fear. Many older large dollar coins were polished by well-meaning owners who thought shine meant value. Unfortunately, cleaning destroys original surfaces and dramatically reduces collector interest. Natural surfaces are always preferred. Let's talk about errors and varieties because this is where excitement grows. while the 1977 D does not have major headline-grabbing double die varieties like some earlier years, minor die varieties and striking errors exist. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and die cracks have all been documented. Dramatic error examples can command strong premiums, especially when authenticated and graded. Toning also plays a role. Some 1977 D coins develop attractive golden, blue, or rainbow toning over time. Natural, eye-appealing toning can increase demand among advanced collectors who appreciate originality. Another important detail is that the 1977 D was only struck in copper-nickel-clad composition for circulation. Unlike certain earlier years, there were number 40% silver circulation strikes from Denver in 1977. That means melt value does not play a role here. The coin's worth depends entirely on condition, rarity and high grade, and collector demand. Now imagine this scenario. A collector finds a sealed mint roll of 1977 D Eisenhower dollars stored away since the 1970s. Most coins inside might grade average uncirculated. But one coin with flawless surfaces, sharp strike, and booming luster could potentially reach MS67. And that single coin could be worth far more than the rest combined. This is why grading services such as PCGS and NGC matter so much. Certification verifies authenticity and assigns a grade recognized by the marketplace. Registry collectors compete for the finest known examples, and competition drives prices upward. The 1977 D is especially interesting because it represents the second to last year of the Eisenhower dollar series. Many collectors assembling full date and mint sets need it. Demand remains steady, particularly for high-grade pieces. In everyday circulated condition, most 1977 D Eisenhower dollars trade for modest premiums over face value. Typical uncirculated MS65 examples often sell in the range of $20 to $50 depending on eye appeal. MS66 coins frequently bring several $100s, but when we look at top-tier auction results, the numbers tell a different story. That a certified MS67 1977 D Eisenhower dollar has sold at major auction for more than $4,000, yes, from a $1 face value to thousands of dollars, all because of condition rarity. That is the magic of coin collecting. Small details create massive differences. Top 4. Today we are taking a deep dive into the United States of America 1974 D Eisenhower $1 coin, a piece of American history that many people overlook but smart collectors quietly search for. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes this coin valuable, what to look for, and why certain examples can surprise you in a big way. The 1974 D Eisenhower dollar was struck at the Denver Mint during the early years of the Eisenhower dollar series. This large-sized dollar was introduced in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower and to celebrate America's achievements in space exploration. It was the first circulating U.S. dollar coin issued after the peace dollar ended in 1935, making it a historic revival of the big dollar format. On the front of the coin, you'll see the bold portrait of Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a five-star general during World War II. His strong profile gives the coin a powerful presence. The word liberty arches above his head, and the motto "In God We Trust" sits to the left. The date 1974 appears below his portrait, and just above the date, you'll find the small D mint mark indicating it was struck in Denver. Flip the coin over and you'll see one of the most iconic reverse designs in modern American coinage. An eagle descends toward the moon, clutching an olive branch, with the earth rising in the background. This design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia, symbolizing peace and technological achievement. It's not just a dollar coin. It's a tribute to leadership and the space age. Now let's talk numbers and reality. The Denver Mint struck millions of 1974 D Eisenhower dollars for circulation. Because of this high production, these coins are very common in worn condition. If you find one that has been heavily circulated, scratched, or dulled from years of handling, it will usually only be worth its face value. But here's where things start to change. Condition is everything in the coin world. And when it comes to large coins like the Eisenhower dollar, condition becomes even more critical. These coins were stored in heavy mint bags, stacked together by the thousands. Because of their size and weight, they banged into each other constantly. That means most uncirculated coins still have noticeable bag marks and surface hits. Collectors closely examine high contact areas. On the obverse, Eisenhower's cheek and jawline are prime spots for marks. On the reverse, the eagle's breast and wings often show contact damage. Finding a 1974 D with clean, smooth surfaces and minimal marks is much harder than most people realize. Luster is another major factor. A true mint state coin should display strong cartwheel luster that shines as you tilt it under light. If the coin looks dull or lifeless, it may have been cleaned or mishandled. Cleaning is one of the biggest mistakes people make. A polished coin might look shiny, but to collectors, it loses originality and value immediately. Strike quality also plays a big role. Some 1974 D Eisenhower dollars were not struck with full sharpness. Weak details in Eisenhower's hair or softness in the eagle's feathers can reduce desirability. A sharply struck coin with bold, crisp detail stands out significantly in the market. Now let's address something very important. The 1974 D Eisenhower dollar made for circulation does not contain silver. It is composed of copper and nickel clad over a copper core. Only special collector versions from San Francisco during certain years contain silver, and 1974 D is not one of them. So if you're searching for silver weight, this coin does not have it. Its value depends entirely on condition and collector demand. Another factor that can dramatically affect value is grading. Professional grading services assign numerical grades based on preservation. Coins at the top of the grading scale are rare because so few survive without heavy marks. Registry set collectors compete fiercely for the highest graded coins, and that competition can push prices upward. Population reports show that while millions were minted, only a tiny fraction achieved the highest certified grades. That gap between total mintage and top condition survivors creates opportunity. In coin collecting, rarity is not always about how many were made. It's about how many survived in elite condition. Toning can also add appeal. Some 1974 D Eisenhower dollars develop natural rainbow hues, golden edges, or subtle blues depending on storage conditions. Beautiful original toning can increase collector interest, especially when it enhances the design rather than distracting from it. Let's also consider long-term trends. The Eisenhower dollar series was once overlooked because of its size and heavy weight. Banks didn't like storing them, and the public didn't enjoy carrying them. But over time, collectors began to appreciate the short production run from 1971 to 1978 and the historical significance tied to a U.S. president and the space program. Interest has steadily grown, especially for high-grade coins. The 1974 D sits right in the middle of the series timeline. It doesn't have the first-year excitement of 1971 or the final-year spotlight of 1978. Because of that, many people underestimate it. And sometimes, the most overlooked coins offer the best opportunity when found in exceptional condition. When evaluating your coin, check for these key points. Does it have strong, original luster? Are Eisenhower's cheek and jaw relatively free of deep marks? Is the eagle sharply detailed? Does the coin appear untouched and natural? If the answer is yes, you might be holding something much more collectible than you think. Also keep an eye out for mint errors. While major varieties are not widely famous for this date, minor die cracks, off-center strikes, and other mint anomalies can create additional value. Error collectors actively seek unusual examples. One more thing to understand is supply versus demand at the top levels. Millions exist in lower grades. But superb gem examples are scarce. That difference creates dramatic price jumps between average and elite specimens. A coin that looks ordinary to most people might be extraordinary to a trained eye. Top 5. Today we're taking a deep and exciting journey into the United States of America 1972 D Eisenhower $1 coin and uncovering what really determines its value and worth. The 1972 D Eisenhower dollar was struck at the Denver Mint during the second full year of the Eisenhower dollar series. This series began in 1971 to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and a five-star general who played a crucial role during World War II. At the same time, the reverse design celebrates America's lunar achievement, making this coin a tribute to both leadership and technological triumph. When you hold a 1972 D Eisenhower dollar, the first thing you notice is its size. It is large, bold, and heavy compared to modern dollar coins. That size alone gives it a powerful presence. On the obverse, Eisenhower's portrait face is left with strong detail in his hair and facial features. The word Liberty curves above, and "In God We Trust" appears beside him. The year 1972 is displayed clearly below his profile, with a small D mint mark indicating it was struck in Denver. Turn the coin over and you'll see the iconic eagle landing on the moon, clutching an olive branch. In the distance, the Earth rises above the lunar horizon. This reverse design was inspired by the Apollo 11 mission patch, connecting this dollar coin to one of the greatest moments in human history. Now here's where things get interesting. The 1972 D Eisenhower dollar had a high mintage. Millions were produced for circulation. Because of that, most examples you find today in worn condition are very common. If the coin has been heavily circulated, showing scratches, dull surfaces, and flattened details, it will typically only carry face value, but that does not mean every 1972 D is ordinary. Large coins like the Eisenhower dollar faced a unique challenge at the mint. After being struck, they were stored in big canvas bags, thousands at a time. Because of their weight and size, they constantly collided with one another. That created contact marks, small dents, and surface abrasions even before they entered circulation. As a result, finding a truly clean and well-preserved uncirculated 1972 D is much more difficult than most people expect. Collectors pay very close attention to condition. On the obverse, Eisenhower's cheek and jawline are high points that easily show marks. On the reverse, the eagle's breast and wings are key areas to inspect. A coin with minimal contact marks in these areas immediately stands out. Luster is another major factor. A high-quality mint state 1972 D should display bright cartwheel luster that rotates smoothly under light. If the surface looks dull, cloudy, or unnatural, it may have been improperly cleaned. Cleaning is one of the fastest ways to reduce collector value. Even light polishing can leave tiny hairline scratches that experienced collectors can spot instantly. Strike quality also plays a big role. Not all 1972 D Eisenhower dollars were struck equally. Some show weaker detail in the hair or the eagle's feathers. Others were struck sharply with bold detail. Collectors prefer coins with crisp lines and strong definition, as these examples represent the design at its best. That it's also important to clear up a common misconception. The 1972 D Eisenhower dollar made for circulation does not contain silver. It is composed of copper-nickel clad over a copper core. Only certain special collector issues from San Francisco in specific years had silver content. So when evaluating a 1972 D, you are looking at condition rarity, not silver melt value. One fascinating aspect of the 1972 date overall is that it is known for reverse design variations from the Philadelphia Mint. However, the 1972 D from Denver does not carry those same major reverse varieties. That means the Denver issue is more straightforward, and its value depends heavily on grade and eye appeal rather than design type differences. Now let's talk about grading and scarcity at the top. While millions were minted, only a small fraction survive in top-tier condition. Professional grading services examine surface preservation, luster, strike quality, and overall eye appeal before assigning a grade. The difference between an average uncirculated coin and a superb gem example can mean a dramatic jump in value. Registry collectors compete to build the highest graded sets possible. When population reports show that very few 1972 D coins exist at the highest grade levels, demand increases. That competitive pressure can drive prices much higher than most people would expect for a coin that once circulated widely. Toning can also add appeal. Some 1972 D Eisenhower dollars develop beautiful natural colors over time. Subtle gold, blue, or rainbow hues along the edges can enhance the visual impact of the coin. Collectors appreciate original toning that adds character without hiding detail. Storage history matters too. Coins kept in original mint sets or carefully stored in protective holders often survive in better shape. Coins tossed into jars, drawers, or loose storage typically show heavy wear and damage. If you have a 1972 D Eisenhower dollar, take a close look at it under good lighting. Tilt it slowly and watch how the luster moves. Check Eisenhower's cheek for deep marks. Inspect the eagle's breast for abrasions. Look at the rim for nicks. Every small detail contributes to the overall grade and desirability. The Eisenhower dollar series has gained increasing respect over the years. Once considered bulky and unpopular for commerce, these coins are now recognized as historically important pieces of modern American numismatics. Their short production run from 1971 to 1978 and their connection to both a president and the moon landing make them unique. The 1972 D may not be the rarest in the series by mintage, but in exceptional condition it becomes something much more special. The real story of this coin is not how many were made. It's how few remain in pristine, high-end condition today, and now, here's the number everyone waits for. While circulated examples are typically worth face value and standard uncirculated coins bring modest premiums, a superb high-grade 1972 D Eisenhower $1 has achieved an auction price of over $6,000.